You know how sometimes you avoid things and you think, oh, I'm just not going to make a decision. Well, guess what? Even not making a decision is making a decision. Are you confused? Stay tuned. We're going to explain it.
I'm Cristy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening.
Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I'm your host, Cristy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer, and I'm here with Cari Thompson. It's just always better together, and we have a great podcast for you today. I mean, I think they're all great. I think sometimes we have ones that are better than others. Sometimes I panic and I have to whip out a podcast that might not be my best work, but we always provide content to you every Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. Mountain Time. We've got a new podcast that drops. We've done 210 of these podcasts so far, and they've always been on time. And you know what, sis, if I can just get off on a tangent real fast, I have people and I have friends and I have business colleagues that always say, oh, we're going to start a podcast. We're going to start a podcast. And I know their personality. And I'm like, no, if you're going to do this, you need to actually show up every week and drop one. And and I say this lovingly, my podcast is my biggest source of stress.
It's like laundry, Cristy. It's laundry and dishes. No matter how hard you work on the podcast, you always have to do more podcasts. So Cristy, I work with this young boy. He's not a boy, he's an adult, but he seems like a boy to me. He's about my kids' age. He's a nurse at the hospital. And he says to me that we got a podcast. And he clicks on YouTube and it's like one episode. And it's super cute. I mean, they're in front of all the deer heads and, they're talking about hunting and fishing. And he goes, now, do you have a podcast? So I click on your link on YouTube and he's like, oh, we don't have a podcast like that, Miss Cari. And I'm like, no, but that's okay. That's okay. Everyone starts. We started in the dark basement. We started without the nice mics, so it's definitely a progress, but I can't see myself doing it with anybody but you. I can tell you that.
Well, I agree with you, and I can't see myself. It's just it's funny because they have these big ideas of a podcast, and I think that people should have one, but only if they can be consistent and realize it's much harder work than they think. But anyway, today we're talking about indecision is still a decision. And Cari, you had this idea. You told me a story. I would love for you to start us off and share. I'll just give you the floor and you share with us what made you think about this and how it can, how we can bring this back around to Code Red.
I have 2 examples, and thank you. And one of them goes back to my graduate school days, and one of them comes recently with a family member who is trying to make a decision and is just not making any decision. So, but this kind of links in with something Mama Carol told me quite a few years ago when I was in graduate school, trying to get my master's degree. I was going through a really hard time in my life. And I just felt like I didn't have time to do it, Cristy. I felt like it was just the wrong time. I wanted to quit. And Mama Carol said to me, Cari, time will pass. And either you will be done with your master's degree or you won't. So the time's going to pass either way. Like you get to that point where you have to make a choice, Cari. And so if you just decide to drop out and let it pass by, you're still making a decision. And that was so poignant for me. It was this moment where a year from now, I'm going to be where I am right now. I can either have a master's degree or I cannot have a master's degree. So a year from now, the time's going to go. So when you decide not to do anything, you're still deciding something. And that brings me to example number 2. A family member has recently left a very toxic relationship and is trying to decide what to do with their life. And just, I don't see kind of anything taking place. I just see the stagnancy. And I was talking to Cristy about the other day, and that's their right. Like, they do not have to do what I would do. They have to live their own life. They have to live their own lived experience and lived truth. But I said to Cristy, indecision in this situation is still a decision. And Cristy was like, oh, that's true. So we see this a lot with weight loss.
You're still making a choice.
Yes.
And you're choosing to stay where you are. You're choosing to not turn in your weight. Cari, right now it's Saturday morning. We're recording this on a Saturday morning. And in my VIP Platinum program, my VIP rebels turn in their weight every Friday. And our IT tech, Amy Beth, she messaged me first thing this morning and she said, Cristy, 25% of your group, which I about fell over, did not turn in their weight. Cari, I just about lost my mind. It was everything I could do to not. And she said, she goes, I'm reconciling. I'm getting all the weight sheet ready for you to go over it on your Sunday meeting with them. Cause that's part of my VIP Platinum program. They turn in their weight on Friday. We go over it and I give them feedback and direction on Sunday. And 25% of the group, sis, I couldn't believe that. And so, they're choosing they're choosing by not turning in their weight. They're still making a choice. They're making a choice to ignore it. They're making a choice to not move forward. They're making a choice to not do the program. So people, I think, want to ignore it and think that ignoring whatever the situation is means you don't have to think about it. You don't have to make the decision. No, but ignoring it is also a choice.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got lots of examples in weight loss. We see this all the time. They need to get back on the wagon. They need to get back into weight loss mode and they don't do anything. So I say to them, so you're choosing just to try to not gain weight right now. That's what you're doing. You're trying not to gain weight, but you're still making a choice if you don't actively do the program. Or we see people Cristy, we talked about this in one of our most recent podcasts about being complacency and being in bad relationships. And they say, well, I just don't want to leave right now. Okay, but you're choosing to stay. That's what you have to realize. There's a flip side to not doing anything. And people think not doing anything is this third option. No, it's not a third option. It is you're doing it or you aren't. You're not doing anything is still making a choice. So when you your car registration is past due, instead of going in and renewing it and taking that money out of your budget and going and doing it, when you say, well, I'll just hang on for a while. No, you're choosing not to renew. I don't understand. People
you're choosing to break the law.
You're choosing to break the law. And people think that there is this third, well, I don't feel like cleaning my house today. Okay. So you're choosing to live in the mess another day.
Yes.
And this is what I see. I see people go, well, there's a third option. There's no third option. It's one or the other.
I love this. There's no third option. And, I pride myself on being a person who's authentic and transparent and truthful and fair. And I didn't catch myself. One of my rebels caught me the other day. Well, it's been a few months, but here recently on social media, on Instagram, I said, I have a Belgian Malinois. People know that they are extremely intense dogs. You have to burn off their energy. And I said, well, I have no choice. I have to do a 3-mile run every single morning. I have no choice. And she was like, oh, no, you have a choice. You have a choice, Cristy. And she called me out on it. I'll tell you after this podcast who it was, sis. It's a longtime rebel and everything. Anyway, and she said, no, you have a choice. You choose to do the 3-mile run, or you choose for your furniture to be torn up with a very frustrated dog. And it was like, ooh, I mean, she was 100% right. And I was like, oh, Cristy, you even did it. You even stepped right in it. I thought there was that third. I don't know. I guess I just thought that I was exempt. Well, I don't have a choice. Oh, you always have a choice.
I have a friend who is not necessarily a code red rebel, but trying to lose a little bit of weight. And she said something to me very poignant the other day. It just struck me. She said, for my whole life, and she's at least 150 pounds overweight, by the way. And I love her. That doesn't have any bearing on our relationship. I just love her anyway. And she loves me with all my crazy faults. But anyway, she said, my whole life, Cristy, I've been able to eat whatever I want, whenever I want. If we're having ice cream, I have ice cream. If we're having this, I have this. And she says, now I'm having to think about what I'm eating, and it's exhausting. But it's almost like she forgot that, but that 150 pounds, 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 150 pounds but that going that one direction kept her, it's making a choice in the opposite direction. Do you know what I mean? There's no middle ground where you just eat whatever you want and you just live a life. Like that doesn't exist, because it might exist, but the consequences are far reaching. I mean, now she's facing down diabetes and some heart problems, but it's that they almost feel like it's lose weight or choose not to lose weight. Oh, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. It's like they think they're in the middle. That's the thing that kills me. There is no middle. And like you said, Cristy, you can kick yourself a year from now because you didn't do anything, or you can see that there are only two paths and you can take the correct path. Every bite gets you further or closer from your goal.
So Cari has kept off over 100 pounds for almost 13 years now. And Cari, I like to pick your brain when it comes to this, because I was never 100 pounds overweight. And you understand you have a level of understanding for our rebels that I will never be able to have. And that's why, and our coaches, same thing, Abby A. Cup, 186 pounds. Like we got people who have been through it. But Cari, let me ask you, what was your thought when you were, 270 pounds? Were you, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, honest with yourself about this choice? Were you choosing to finish your kid's Sonic? Were you choosing the McRib? Were you consciously, or what was going through your mind with regard to this subject?
It's interesting. I look back now, and it was definitely that feeling like I deserved it, because I made a lot of excuses. Like, you deserve it. Things are hard. I was in a bad relationship. I'm hungry. People don't get me. I just have big bones. People don't understand me. I'm just a thick girl. I'm never going to be skinny. I mean, I wear a size 5 ring. I'm not a large person. I mean, I'm big boned in the sense that I have square shoulders and thick legs, but I mean, I'm not a 6'4" woman, and I was making myself out to be, in my brain, I was this very large, have you ever met, well, anyway, I won't say that. I was going to mention something else, but I'll stop there. But, bigger bone people, I thought I was that person. So I made this excuse. And what's interesting, and I see people do this, they say, I just don't want to lose weight right now. Okay, but let me be clear about something. You're choosing then to go the opposite direction. And that's what it is with my friend. Like, well, I'm not ready to start a program. She didn't say that. I'm just saying, like, I wasn't ready. I wasn't doing that before, but you were doing something. So you're either on one path or the other. And that is part of the lie that we tell to ourselves. And the lie that I told myself, well, I'm not focusing on my weight right now. Okay. That sounds great.
So you're focusing on your sickness then.
Yeah, there are no third options. There are no third options in life. I wish there were an option was, oh, I'm just pausing. There's no pause button. There's no pause button. Not making a decision is indecision, and that is ultimately a decision. Now, put that on a little quote and put that on Instagram, Cristy. Not making a decision is ultimately indecision, and that in itself is a decision. People, yes. Listen up. It's a decision. Do not believe your own bull crap that you're just in the middle somewhere, or you're just, I'm just not going to focus. I'm going to be all about me and self. Yes, you should be all about you. Yes, you should be body positive. Yes, you should love yourself, but don't fool yourself into thinking that you're just pausing. This is not 1987. We don't have a VCR. There are no pause buttons. I wish there were. But like our Aunt Barbara said when she was losing weight, what's my choice? Gain back the weight I lost or lose more weight? Those are the only two. Rarely do I meet a person that just stays in that middle lane and just stays at 300 pounds. I rarely meet those people. They always trend up, Cristy. Am I crazy about the trending up?
No, you're 100% right.
Okay.
Did you say trending as in like trending?
Always if you
trending.
Say I'm not going to lose weight, you're not going to stay at 250 pounds. It's going to be 250. Next month, it's going to be 255. Maybe you'll wait till 260 for 3 months. And then you're going to be 270 one day at Christmas. And you're going to be like, how did that happen? There is no middle lane. And I think that's a lie that we tell ourselves. We tell ourselves, I'm just not going to make a decision. I'm just not going to make a decision about this. Well, then guess what? You're making a decision.
I'm going to start I really like this. In fact, as soon as we get done recording, I'm going to get on my VIP Voxer thread. I send 1 to 3, mostly 3 messages a day to to our rebels. Cari's got a group and I've got a group, coderedlifestyle.com/VIP. You can look that up. It's a monthly subscription, start and stop whenever you want. And I'm going to start hammering this choice and really putting, because it is awfully powerful, isn't it? As much as you might not like it, it is a feeling of power, and we're empowering ourselves when we realize and admit, yeah, I'm choosing sickness or I'm choosing health, but one way or the other, I am choosing it. And I like that. I like that we really put that choice back, because I know that we've had rebels that have gone through, they'll be right in the middle of the program and they'll have a loved one dies unexpectedly. And they say, there's not a lot I can control right now, but I can control what I'm eating and drinking. Amen. And so I'm going to choose at least to control that. So it is a good feeling of control when you can realize, yeah, this is my choice. Nobody's shoving the Olive Garden breadsticks down my throat.
I wrote it down, Cristy, so I could talk to my group about it. Indecision is indecision.
It is. And right now, at the time we're recording this, I am 6 weeks out from my very first comeback bodybuilding competition that I've been working for 7 months, 6 months now to compete in. And I'm only 6 weeks. I'm 6 weeks out now. In the bodybuilding world or the competition world, I'm learning that's actually not a lot of time. And it's really getting down, as the kids would say, to the nubbins. Remember when they were little? Oh, Aunt Cristy, down to the nubbins. I still say that, sis. And so we're really down to the nubbins. And what I learned yesterday, I kind of knew it, but I heard it again from my coach. He said, every single decision you make at this point, Cristy, can make or break you on stage. You have got to be super militant. Like, we are down to the no wiggle room. There's no wiggle room left. And then both my posing coaches also confirmed that and said that, like, every single choice. And so, guys, I realize none of you guys are competing right now. None of you, anybody listening to this podcast, that's not where your head is at. And I'm perfectly fine with that, because exercise is not a way to address a weight problem. And that's not what we do on Code Red. It's my own personal journey and goal in my documentary for Netflix that I'm doing. But this is the same for you. You know, every single forkful will take you on this path or that path. There is no middle path.
And even, Cristy, let's take it to the spiritual world, because a lot of times we do talk about Jesus and spiritual world. And if we are not actively pursuing a relationship with Christ, if you are a Christ believer or whatever your religion is, like if you believe in whatever, if you're doing yoga, like I don't care what it is. Like, I'm just going to make Jesus, because that's what most of our audience relates to. So, you know, if we're not actively pursuing and relentlessly pursuing a relationship with Christ, then we're just staying stagnant. But staying stagnant is a choice as well. We're saying, God, you're just not as important to me. You're not important enough to make that choice. You're not important enough to read my Bible every day. And I'm not talking about religiousness. I'm not talking about doing things to get God's approval. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about works. We know that faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word. So, I mean, it's about taking those steps and going towards a relationship of better with God. And how can I get to know your character more? Lord, how can I get to know you more? How can I know your word more? But a lot of people are like, well, I believe in God, but they're still making a decision the other direction when they do that. It's still a decision to stay stagnant. People think stagnancy is indecision, but it's not. Stagnancy is still a decision.
I'm going to go in the Code Red Network in our app, and if you haven't talked about this already, I'm going to talk about it as soon as we're done. I love this. I mean, this is really firing me up inside to really come face to face with my own bullcrap, because you guys, it gets inside Cari and my head too. Our brains do exactly what your brains do. You justify, and you try to skirt the rules, and you try to bend the rules, and you try to go, well, I'm going to do this, and then tomorrow I'll do this. And then, you negotiate with yourself, and you have these little battles with yourself. I know Cari does. We're just like you. We are more similar than we are different. And we're having the same exact battles, but make no mistake about it. It's ultimately you're choosing one side or the other. I'm choosing to be closer to the state stage look I need to be or farther from it with every single bite. And it's going to come down on me, and it's going to come down on Cari, what she chooses to do with what she's got going on. And the same thing with you. You are no different, but we battle the same thing you're battling with.
Cristy, I think about people that like say, I'm going to get up and go to the gym, every day. And again, Cristy said that weight loss is not addressed by exercise, but let's just say you've committed. You show up at my 9 a.m. Hardinsburg, Kentucky exercise class on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, just so you know, if you guys want to come. Okay. Let's say you show up, you have committed, you're going to start, you want to work on your cardiovascular health. You want to work on your mobility, your joint mobility, so you can put groceries away. You can reach up over your head when you're old. You don't fall and break your neck. So these are the things you've decided to work on. You come once to my class, then you're like, well, I'm sore. Well, that's a decision not to come. Don't tell me you're just taking a break from the gym. When you make a commitment and you don't go every day, it's still a decision. And that's what people get. That's where, in this whole thing, like we're talking about, every morning when I wake up, I have to recommit to drinking my water instead of just drinking coffee all morning. Cristy knows this because Cristy loves drinking coffee. I have to recommit to getting my prep food out of the fridge and heating it up. I have to recommit to the principles of going to bed and not staying up. And lately, Cristy, we've been watching The Chosen. It's on Amazon Prime. What a great show. If you guys have not seen it, it's amazing. But Brandon's like, one more episode. And it's like 9:00 something. And I'm like, no, we got to go to bed. Otherwise, even though tomorrow's Saturday, I'm not going to feel good. And that's going to cause me not to make good decisions tomorrow with eating because I'll be tired. So it's all about people thinking that there is another path, that there is a way. And trust me, we all do it. When I see sunflower seeds in my car and I chose not to take 5 extra seconds to get the vacuum and vacuum out, it's the decision to go the other way. It's even that simple. When you ignore that junk drawer, everybody except for Cristy has a junk drawer in their kitchen. Cristy does not have a junk drawer in her kitchen. Never seen anything like it. Cristy, you need to get on the church prayer list. It's not normal. But when we walk by that junk drawer, we're making a decision. And so I love how, like Cristy says, we get inside our own heads. We come up with these bullcrap stories. We come up with justifications. But when it comes down to brass tacks, when it comes down to the nubbins, when it comes down to the wire, you're either doing it or you aren't. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you're on a different path. You have a third option.
We talk about this on a lot of our podcasts. I have been for the past few months staying at mom's house every Thursday night. She lives about a half hour from me, and she's got a yard with another, she's got a couple other dogs. She's got a doggy door, and it's nice when I go to mom's house. I sleep really, really well there. I always get the highest sleep scores there. And Hazel gets to play with her dogs and gets to let herself out the door. It's just kind of a nice little pattern interrupt for my life. And I really love spending time with mom. And I don't know what it is, sis. It's so hard in the mornings. Us rebels, we get up, we walk to the bathroom, we go potty, we strip down naked, and we weigh ourselves dry before we do anything else, before natural inflammation kicks in, before we eat or drink anything, before anything happens. We don't move around too much because we want to get that dry weight right off the bat before you just start, you start waking up. And so then we turn and grab our water. It's immediate. It's right away. We get started on that water. And I've always taught my rebels water before coffee, water before coffee, water before coffee. And sis, when I wake up at mom's house, it is harder for me to go and get my water first than it is the coffee. Cause I can smell, cause mom and Brian, sometimes they're not as good on the program as they should be. I know you guys are listening. So that's me calling you out. I'm putting you on, and they'll go right for the coffee. So I can hear and smell, the coffee coming out of a little coffee maker, and it smells so good. And Cari's right. I'm just a huge coffee lover. And here I am standing at the refrigerator, filling up my bottle and its mom's spout is so slow, sis. It comes out so slow. And I'm just, filling it up and putting my hydrocharge in, shake, shake, shake. And I'm getting the whole thing done. But it's so tempting to want to turn to my right instead of my left and get the coffee. And just this once, ignore my water. Well, guess who's going to have a headache in about 40 minutes if I don't get my water going, so it's hard. Those decisions are hard. None of this is going to be easy. I mean, you don't get out of the hard. The struggle's guaranteed, as Tom Bilyeu says. The struggle is guaranteed. It's just that, hey, I'm making the decision, and that's a hard one when I'm at mom's house.
Well, and that's just as a little aside, that is why you should have your water bottle pre-filled at your bedside. So it's the very first thing you do after you weigh. You can start before you even go out to the kitchen, before Cristy goes out there and smells mom's delicious coffee percolating. That would be hard for me too.
It's like the angels are singing. Like she's just, and Cari, the way she makes coffee is so much better. She'll go, "Do you want me to drink? You want mom to make your coffee for you, sis?" And I'm like, "Yes," because she just makes it taste better when she makes it. It's creamier. She gets the ratios right. I don't know what it is. And so, she just like the fire's going and I'm snuggled up on the couch and it's just, it tastes good. So it's a really hard to turn down the coffee right off the bat.
I could totally see that. Yeah, I think it's because you're not making it yourself, Cristy.
Probably, yeah.
I think when we don't have to do things ourselves, it's always a treat.
Yeah, I know. I farm sat for you over Thanksgiving when you took your family to Gatlinburg and on a family getaway. And I said, why wouldn't you want to go on an exotic vacation, sis? This is not a vacation. You said, sis. Anytime I don't have to do farm chores, it's a vacation. And so when you don't have to do things yourself, it's a vacation, right?
Yeah. Every time my housekeeper, she'll like fold whatever's in the dryer. I'm like, oh, look how cute these clothes are. Then I'm like, they're the same clothes, Cari. You just don't have to fold them yourself. And that's why you like it. You think it's cool. Plus I don't fold clothes. Who folds clothes? You.
I do it as a reward.
You don't have a junk drawer.
I do it for a reward for myself. If I get my work done, I allow myself to go into my closet and refold all the t-shirts.
Cristy, Jesus, help her. That is not normal.
Andrea said the same thing.
You have a reward of folding clothes. You need to get another hobby.
Yes, it's so
fun.
I get to go in. I get to straighten them all up. I get to get them all.
Y'all need to add Cristy to your church prayer list.
Andrea said the same thing. She goes, "Oh my gosh, Cristy." I mean, I just look for things to.
I'm going to send a couple kids to your house and you be folding all their dirty every time they take out. Hey, how many moms? Every time you take a pair of pants out of the freaking laundry basket, it's got a pair of underwear around the top of it. So you got to pull the underwear off, stick your hands in the pants, pull it back out the right way. And the whole time you're like, who puts things in the laundry basket with their underwear in them and socks still stuffed inside the end of the pants like this? Come on now.
I like what you talked about. You said, I look at Anne-Marie's clothes and I'm like, are they really dirty? And sometimes you just fold them up and just like shake them out and put them back.
That's the secret between you and me.
Oh, sorry.
Now you don't know. I'm teasing. But y'all listen, if your kid wears a pair of jeans once and they're not dirty, I am not washing those. Yeah. I stick them in the dryer to fluff back up with the dryer sheet and I fold it and she never knows. And I don't think she listens to our podcast. So I think I'm safe. I'm making a decision in that moment to conserve a little bit of water, trying to reduce my carbon footprint on the earth.
Right. That's right.
My Lord, that child.
Well, I think you guys really got the point of even an indecision is a decision, and you need to take responsibility here. There is no third option for you. There is no third path. It's this way or it's this way. We've done podcasts about this before, and people don't need to be taught. They need to be reminded. And we're reminding you once again that you're making a choice to either towards sickness or health. You're making a choice to stay the same or move forward or go back. You're making the choice to go backward. So make sure you own that and understand you still made a decision, even though you act like you're not.
Sadly enough, life does not come with a pause button. I wish it did, because there's so many things I would have paused. My kids growing up, wonderful memories, things that happen in our life, but it just does not come with a pause button. And sometimes, Cristy, like you said, we believe our own baloney lies that we can just pause, but you're moving in a direction. And again, like Cristy said, there is no third path. Sadly enough, there just isn't.
Well, now I want to call the podcast Life Does Not Come with a Pause Button. That was really good. I'm going to redo the intro. And
well, Cristy, remember in Grangemont, we had that. Guys, listen, I got to tell you this real quick. I know it's the end of the podcast, but we used to go by Video Flicks. That was the name of the place in Orfino, Idaho. And you could rent a VCR that came in like a strap, like a big old, like somebody that had a heart LVAD when I was growing up. My nurses will know what an LVAD is. But anyway, it goes over your shoulder. You would pick out the movies. They'd rent it out. You would get the VCR. You got the VHS movies and the VCR. And then we would take it home, and it was a party time in Grangemont at the trailer in Grangemont.
Yep. With Grangemont popcorn.
With Grangemont popcorn.
Mom would make it.
And then you'd put it in and to rewind. Yeah.
There was a sticker. There was a sticker that said, "Be kind, rewind." You had to rewind the movies, or you got charged 25 cents.
They did charge. Yeah, they charged you if you turned it back in without it being rewound. And at the movie place, they had all these rewinders, and they'd shove the little shove it in. Kids these days don't even know what that is, Cristy.
They don't even know. Those were the days. And our TV was my iPad's bigger than our TV.
I know.
And we were so thankful. Those were the good, like you said, that was a party. That was really fun. Mom, we know you're listening. So we really had fun on those movie nights, Mom.
And I know it was expensive too.
Yes.
Mom and Dad did it. They wrote a check out of the checkbook. Who wrote
a
checkbook? They didn't have no cash.
No,
they had an account at the Orfino Credit Union.
Yeah,
and they wrote out $7.21. And I know that cut into the grocery budget. You know that cut into the grocery budget. So we appreciate those movie nights, Mom and Dad.
Mom really operated on some thin margins when it comes to running our family. There was very, very thin margins, and she still found a way to make it work. And we have great memories because of that.
That's awesome.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. Man, we love you guys. We're here for you guys. We have so many different programs that can fit your needs. We really do. I've been doing this a very, very, very long time. I've been in this industry 29 years. I've been doing Code Red for 11 years, just like this. And we have developed some incredible programs that have brought hope and healing to tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world. So we have something for you. If you ever have a problem with a Code Red or a Code Red product, please just contact customer service by filling out a ticket. Please don't send us an email. We don't use email system to support our rebels. We use the customer service ticketing system. So you can find that at support.coderedlifestyle.com. We would love to help you. And we're here for you. We love you. And we will see you on the next one, guys. Have a good one. Thank you. Hey, I'm Cristy Code Red, and thank you for listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you want to stay connected to other rebels like you, join us in our private network. Our Code Red app is a one-stop shop, free from ads, algorithms, and censorship, and a place where you can see, listen, and watch everything Code Red. You'll be encouraged, motivated, and fired up to stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Get recipe ideas, tips, tricks, and help from coaches, mentors, and other rebels. You can also purchase products, programs, and coaching all right there in one place. And if you have any trouble navigating the app, we're right there to help you. Go to coderedlifestyle.com/APP to join for free. And I'll see you on the next episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle.